Hello internet friends. It's been a while since I've made a video and I don't know why I feel compelled to do it today, but I am gonna do it today. So the video for today is gonna be trying out this Stillman and Burn Alpha Series Premium Sketchbook Carnet de Croquis. It's a mixed media sketchbook, good for dry media, light wash, ink techniques. Yeah. It is I'm pretty sure it's a pulp paper, and I've been using the Strathmore 500 series mixed media sketchbook for a while, and I love it, but they are getting harder to find, and when I do find them, they tend to be very expensive. And I saw this at Jerry's Artorama last time I was in Raleigh, and I figured I would give it a try because this is a lot cheaper. I doubt it's gonna be as good quality, or not even comparable quality, just because it is a wood pulp paper, and the Strathmore 500 series is all 100% cotton. But I figured I would just open it up and do a few tests with you guys just to see how it holds up. Today I will be testing the Waterman's fountain pen ink in this fountain pen, posca pens, watercolors, microns, inktense, and colored pencils. And of course, we can't forget the regular old graphite pencil. So let's go ahead and just start with the graphite pencil. I'm just going to draw a few simple shapes here and do a little light blending. I can already tell that the tooth of this paper will lend really nicely to blending with pencil. You can see how smooth those lines come out. Just gonna draw this basic eye. So you can see where I've made these little imperfections. It's really easy to just go right over. And part of that is the pencil that I'm using, and part of it is the tooth of this paper. So I'm actually already pleasantly surprised by that, because to be quite frank, I did not have the highest hopes for this sketchbook. All right, let's try doing a little light blending. I do not have a blending stump, so I'll just use my finger. I could see this being an issue in regards to it smudging onto the page across, so probably will need a fixative if I'm using graphite. which is not uncommon for a sketchbook. Let's jump in now with the fountain pen. I have the Waterman's brown ink in this. Let's zoom in. And I'll just draw another circle. One idea that I had to use with this, so you can see that my technique for circle drawing is different when I'm using a pen versus a pencil. It's not as loose and painterly, if you will. But one of the ideas, one way that I thought would be an interesting way to use this pen, or not this pen, this sketchbook, would be as a travel journal, not just for drawing and painting, but also for writing. So I think this paper could work really well for long form journaling. So it would be like if I was on a camping trip or something and I wanted to draw and also journal, I would not have to carry two separate books in order to be able to do that. Do some cross-hatching here. So yeah, I can already tell that I think that would be suitable use for this. I am going to do a little water test with this just to see how the pen blends with water on this paper. So this is a water-soluble pen. It's not meant to be waterproof. So it would be useful for doing shading and stuff while I was out and about. But then again, I would want to be careful how I handle the sketchbook if I'm, you know, out and about. I don't want my journaling to get destroyed. All right, let's see if this paper shreds with the posca pen. Wow. I'm actually pretty excited about that. Ooh, it takes the posca pen really well. Kind of surprised. I can feel it in the spots that I'm going over that I've already put a layer down. I can feel the paper shredding, but it doesn't look like I really need to put multiple layers down. It seems to sit on top fairly easily. You can already see a little bit of warping with the wet media, but that's pretty normal even with watercolor paper. And this is simply mixed medium paper, which is not designed to take a lot of wet media. All right, so next up let's just go for the colored pencil since I have it right here. Get a nice sharp pencil. I am so sorry. I thought that I was recording that eye drawing, so sorry about that. Let's go for a little micron action. The classic. I think microns are like when you are a young budding artist and you know, you're past, most likely past middle school, where you're using like gel pens and number two pencils and stuff to do your art, and you come across microns and you think, this is the pen I've been waiting for all my life, because they just have this quality that you don't find in everyday pens. This blackness, I guess, that you don't find. And gel pens are great, but I actually don't love them for doing art all the time. They're not bad, it's just that they sit on top of the paper, whereas the microns do a really good job of blending in. Or not blending in, but just like settling into the paper. And their color is so solid. Like, it's not like you're layering. It doesn't, you can't see the drawing marks really, unless you're really burnishing the paper. So I'm not going to be too... Microns are really great for doing graphic design sketches. I mean, you can really use them whatever material, however you personally like. I don't think there's one technique that's like universally better for everyone with any given media. So, you know, a technique that might come naturally and be easy for me with this medium might not be that way for somebody else, and it might work well with somebody else using another medium. So anyway, there we go. Now that the posca has dried, I am going to do another layer on it just to see how that goes. And so yeah, it seems, as long as you let the posca underneath dry all the way, that you're not going to rip up your paper. So that's awesome. Alright, next we're going to do the Derwent Inktense. Before I had the blocks, these are the pencils, which I think I just personally enjoy using them a bit more. So we will, we'll do that. And with this, I'm going to go a little bit bigger just so I have a little bit more room to work. And I'm going to be blending this out with my water brush, because that is one of the things about Inktense that is so awesome, is that you can do that. I didn't fill up my water brush, so I'm dipping it like a normal paintbrush. A lot of people will say to start in the uninked area and move into the inked area. And I think that's solid advice, although it's just that when you're moving away from the inked area, you're going to carry it into those uninked areas. So it can be easy to go overboard with blending. Okay. Which I think I'm about to do. So let's just call it a day, shall we? And we'll do our little eye. Not gonna have to put as much color down with this because we'll be able to move it with the water. And I'm doing less details here because I'm going to go back on top of this with the more intricate details of the eye. So we're just going to smooth this out a bit. Cool thing about using this too is, like, if you do just a quick run over the areas that you've drawn on, you can see that you still maintain some of the details that you put down with the actual inktense pencil. So a little bit of the color intensity remains, which I think is cool. Okay, so we're going to wait for that to dry, and in the meantime, let's move on to our next medium. Let's see here, what did I say before? Got poscas. Oh, watercolor. Can't forget that one. All right, so I'm not necessarily going to do the same thing with the watercolors here, just because I don't quite use watercolors in the same way that I use drawing mediums. So for the watercolor, I am just going to put down some colors just to see how they sit on the paper. So already I can see, if you look at this, when it goes down, there's a little bit of beading that happens. Like you can still see little dots of white underneath. Like, that's a little bit of a red flag. But again, this paper is not designed for like intense water application. And it does say that on the cover. But as an artist, you always have creative freedom, and you get to use your materials however you see fit. And there may be times that I see fit to use this paper like normal watercolor paper, even though I shouldn't. Or rather, even though I know it might not yield the best results. So you can see that part of it might be the paint that I'm using, but you can see that this paint isn't moving much. Sorry, it's not moving much except from where I put it. So like it's only moving when I move it, like it's not spreading freely like you would actually want from a normal watercolor application. Part of the beauty of watercolor is being able to use it to create really natural looking effects, because they're effects that are literally created on their own, and you're just kind of guiding them along. And with this, it's not really doing that. And the colors in this palette are all high quality colors that would normally travel quite a bit on paper that I put them on if it were normal watercolor paper, or rather higher quality watercolor paper. So there's that. So if I was going to use this for watercolor, I guess it would be more like almost like coloring in a, a, a topic, maybe not doing a painting, but rather doing light washes over a drawing to help add depth. And I'm just going to go in here and finish up this eye. Okay, awesome. Cool. Is that every supply that I said I was going to use? I think it is. Cool. I might come back to this on another date and do some acrylic testing on it as well as gouache and acrylic wash. I probably won't ever use this for oil painting. I know it's possible to make sketchbooks into oil painting sketchbooks by putting gesso down, but for me, that's a little bit too much for a sketchbook. I like to keep my sketchbooks casual, and doing all that doesn't feel casual, so I'd rather just do it on a wood panel or a canvas board. So yeah, that is going to be it. For those of you who are not new to this channel, I've had this channel for quite a long time, but I'm not the most consistent poster, to be completely honest. You might have noticed that I changed the name to The Frumpy Artist. And the reason I did that is because I have been feeling kind of challenged emotionally about making YouTube videos, and I feel a little bit self-conscious about how being aesthetic on YouTube. I think that's a pretty common thing on YouTube, and I don't think that I'm a very aesthetically pleasing person. I'm not saying I'm ugly, I'm just saying I'm kind of frumpy, and if you don't know what frumpy means, it's basically a cute way of saying not very stylish. My husband's calling me, so I'm gonna answer it real quick. Okay, lighting, as you will have noticed, has changed after talking to my husband. Anyway, yes, I'm a frumpy girl, and identifying in that way makes me feel a little bit less self-conscious about not being aesthetic. So there's that. Yeah, here is the Stillman and Burn. Here's my drawings, and I did want to show that it did not bleed through to the other side, so that's great. And also, while I was talking to my husband, he challenged me to draw Nicolas Cage as Dracula in that new movie about Renfield. So that is what I'm gonna do, and when I do that, I guess I'll record that too, and it will be my next video. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning back into my channel. I hope you have a wonderful morning, day, evening, or night. And please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.